Welcome. We're on our information call for Flower Essence Magic, the Alchemy of Transformation. I'm Camilla Blossom, and I'm really excited to share more about the course and what you can expect from it. So I thought it'd be fun to definitely answer questions and connect with others. We have a few people on the call. I know there's a bunch of you that are going to listen to this later. It's all good. Especially the fact that it is self-guided. I realize sometimes we'd rather just do things quietly on our own, which is totally cool. Yeah, so whatever way works. But I'll kind of go over each of the things that it comes with, what you can expect that you'll receive. A little bit, you'll get kind of a sense of me. I'll share a little bit about my story. And then I think it'd be fun to do something about some flowers. I had this really great day, or 2 days, on Sunday, Monday, when I went out and saw a bunch of the flowers again in the gorge. And I have some great pictures, so I thought it'd be fun to tune into that. And it's one of them that we're working with in the course. So yeah, so welcome. And we have Nicola and Angela here. So thank you too for coming. And yeah. And I guess just to start too, is interesting. Nicola, you said you're from Sedona, and Angela is from more the Pacific Northwest in Oregon. And even though we're focusing on these 9 flowers, the wildflowers of the gorge, even if you're someone who lives somewhere else, I think some of these flowers grow everywhere, but also that you can really kind of open the doors for your work for wherever you are, and then you can make them in your area, because there's definitely a regional focus to them, is what I found. Yeah. All right. Actually, I thought it would be fun to start with the flowers that I saw, just tell you a little story and kind of get grounded and stuff. So I'm just going to change my little settings here. And do a screen share. So I want to show you. Got 2 pictures here. Can you see those? Good. Okay, so I had this really great experience this weekend going back out. I actually went back out to the place where I began making flower essences. It's in Washington. It's near Lisle, Washington, near Catherine Creek, which is this area with these cliffs, basalt cliffs. And I just kind of revisited and tuned in once again to, this was 23 years ago, to this kind of magic moment. And I actually lay down in the same place where I started making them. And I felt like I had this whole new initiation for like the next chapter of working with the flower essences. And I know a lot of us are feeling that everything's changing, right? Like everything's changing within ourselves, everything's changing in the world, besides the chaos. There's so much amazing light pouring in. There's such a beautiful ascension process we're in. It's not easy, but it's also like bringing a lot more love, a lot more joy. And so it's a process that is part of our evolution. And we chose to be here to be part of it. And so what I've discovered working with flower essences since I began making them, which was actually, I made them in a class I went to a little before I started actually making them. But this was sort of the initiation into teaching them, sharing them, having a business that really centered around flower essences and aromatherapy. And so this location was the first place that called, and it feels like it has a lot of Lemurian energy, which for those who know what that means, like Lemuria was a civilization in the ancient times on Earth where we all were like light beings. We tuned into the energy of things. We could stand next to a flower and have a healing. And like and we'd work with color and we'd work with energy medicine. And it was a very natural thing to be working with these energies, to understanding energy. Everyone did, working with crystals, working with a lot of kind of vibrational energy medicine that we work with today. So this area has a lot of Lemurian energy too, if that's something you're tuned into. But this beautiful flower, it's so sweet because if you look at the cliff there, I don't know if you can see the pointer, but way up, it's kind of on the left side, and I guess it's more square. There's a little area, and that is where they live. This plant like clings to the side of these basalt cliffs way up high, in all these places up high. And this little area, I don't even know if you can see me circling, but I had to scale up to find one flower left. It was so hot that everything kind of had already bloomed. And I really wanted to see these guys again. I love them. They're Barrett's penstemon is the name. And they only grow in the gorge, the Columbia River Gorge, nowhere else in the world, this particular one. And it's one that's in the kit, and we'll be working with it. And it's just such a beautiful one for what we're all experiencing right now. So we will kind of open and attune with it right now. So I'd like to just invite you, I'm going to take some of the essence. So this is like the bottle, what you'll be getting in the kit. And then just putting a few drops. You can take it under your tongue in your mouth. I have a bowl of water so that you all can receive it. You can also put it in water to take it. But I invite you just to spend a moment, and it's in this bowl of water. And yeah, take a couple deep breaths, move into your heart. And we're just going to allow the spirit, the fairy, the deva of this plant. You can also just gaze at it if you like. Just invite that in. We'll just welcome that, whatever energy that is. And let that sweetness, that light, bring your energy back to you from your day. And allow that to move in if it wants to come in your crown, your heart, your hands. Let it move into your nervous system, into your bloodstream, into your body. And you might even get a sense that it wants to go to a certain place, or even say something, but just open. And even if you don't feel or hear or see anything, just know that it's working with you. You can actually see the fairies flying around you. And just allow that medicine in. You're being introduced to the Barrett's penstemon and the spirit, the fairy, the deva, whatever you want to call that energy. And I can feel a lot of joy and fun and playfulness. So we'll just ask for this flower to activate whatever it is that you need right now in your life. And even activate, is there, are you making a decision here to step forward with flower essences, with this course? Or is there something in your life? And so one of the teachings of this plant is about trust for your path. And so you're welcome to connect with this deva, with the spirit of this plant, and let yourself think of something in your life where you are trying to step forward It might be about working with flower essences. It might be some other area of your life. Just allow yourself to think of that situation, even making a choice, and bring that flower spirit with you. And then just trust. You can even imagine you're on the cliff and you're ready to fly. You're ready to move forward with this situation. You're ready to fly, ready to step forward, take that leap of faith. So I just want you to feel the trust inside your heart to walk forward. Might feel like you're walking forward into space, into the unknown. But just let this flower give you wings. And let this flower allow you to feel joy, even in the unknown, in what's scary, what we know we're going to do, but we aren't quite ready. Just open to that trust and that medicine. So we'll just take a couple more deep breaths. And if there's any other communication or connection with the flower, words of wisdom, or even just a sense of calm. And we'll, let it ground us into this moment as well. Thank you to the plant. Nice. Yeah, and like I said, that's one we'll be working with during the course. And the way I'm kind of doing the course is that there'll be teachings and there'll be meditations, and you can tune in and take the essence while you're doing that, but also then take that essence for a week or so, take it over time and really work with it, the one that's resonating for you. And that's really how my experience has been of learning about them, is to having those, our own direct experiences, right? I can tell you things, my experience and things that have come forward, but for you to really claim this medicine as your own and to use it, like the more meditations you do, the more you take the essence, do ritual, tune in to it, the more that you'll connect with it. Yeah. So was there anything that you want to share about your experience? Did you connect in with that plant? Nice.
So much curiosity on a plant that only grows in that area of the world. That's kind of mind-blowing to me. So
I know.
it's like, why there? What did it show up for?
Yeah. It's a great question, a great observation. There are a lot of other penstemons in that family. And we'll be talking about penstemons, or a lot about freedom. And so it feels like such an important one for this time when, it's easy to have resistance and fear, like to really trust, open those wings. But also what's interesting about the gorge, making the flower essences here, is this whole area was formed from massive dams flooding, right? This whole area. And I kept feeling like, this area, like for these wildflowers to live here, they're survivors. They can live through anything. And this is exactly what we're in, right? We're going through big, huge, sweeping changes, like the cataclysmic event, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, that keeps coming back. And now more than ever, like even more than when I started making them, there's that sense that that these ones really know how to survive in this strong elemental, powerful area. And I know that. Nicola, would you like to share anything?
They're so magical. Yeah, just thank you so much for sharing that flower. It's just what I needed at this moment. They have so much to say or vibrationally support, I feel like, around being the courageous, open heart in this time where it's almost like that childlike, playful, joyful heart despite everything. Right. And then to really trust that sort of, it's a very there's a primal, I don't know, life force kind of from opening the heart like that, and to really trust that your joy will guide you through all of this. Like, it really is that simple, to keep the heart open, and wherever, like, it's kind of feels natural to want to shut down in some places. There's a lot of good evidence of why one would want to, and to really be like, no, it's really the simple of just maintaining a strong, and that doesn't mean, because they're clearly up against all of this intensity, so it doesn't mean that it's more like a joyful Kali kind of energy. It's like, no, we actually have to also be warriors in this kind of vibe. So they embody that. I feel like, I don't know, that was so powerful for me, because that's the kind of energy I've been feeling into generally lately, just having support around that, because it takes so much courage.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like the more beautiful and tender and sweet and soft and like that part of us, like we need to have a really badass like part of us that can protect that, right?
Yeah,
it's sort of like mirrored too in that flower, because it's like so beautiful and sweet, and the color, and like, and when I experience it, sometimes it can seem like little fairies. Other times it seems almost like it's got this powerful vision quest, like indigenous energy to it. So it's a really interesting one that seems to, I think you kind of tuned in, like it really has different elements of how it can work. Yeah. I'm kind of curious too, are you, where are you guys at with your flower essence understanding or work? You know, is this new to be working with flower essences, or have you done this for, yeah,
they've definitely been such a beautiful blessing and weaving in my life, from giving them to my animals and finding people that sort of were, you know, versed in that, to making my own, you know, growing my own flowers in Oregon and being called. I mean, I have crazy stories. And so for me, it's been this remembering and being like, oh my gosh, they really are speaking to me. And I always believed in fairies, and then thought, you know, I should stop believing in fairies. And then the flowers reminded me that's so important. It was awesome. You know, like, to keep the magic alive. So I want to revisit, and now that I'm in Arizona, I'd love to make flower essences here and have more of a guided mentor approach. Before it was very intuitive, and some of them turned into alcohol and and make cordials, which were actually really cool. But yeah, I would just love to work with you and share in your wisdom.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And what about you, Angela?
For me, they are fairly new. I would say in just the last couple years, the flowers have been calling to me, and I consider myself team tree in general. And I was just mentioning to my partner that especially this year, it's just like a whole change, where normally moving about the place where I live, I'm like, oh, look at that tree, look at that tree. And this year it's just like the flowers all the way down the street. It's just flower over here, flower there, flower. Oh, I never saw that one. Look at that one. And we just moved into a new house, and clearly there was a master gardener here. I think I I counted like 23 different flowers on the land I'm at right now. And I'm just blown away. I'm like, yes, I've been calling this in and I didn't even have to plant a single one of them. I'm just reveling in their beauty. So I'm excited to know more. I delved a bit into essential oils for quite some time.
Mhm.
And I guess that journey from essential oil to flower essence is kind of what is transforming in my life on every level.
Right.
A much more subtle and possibly even more powerful realm. So I'm excited.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wanted to ask that too, because I kind of am sharing it that it's not a beginner course. So it's kind of curious, but also I realized, like, even though it's not a beginner course, if someone's newer, like there's enough material in my book and that you can like go through that, but then have much more expansion of what you can learn, right? Because if it's just a beginner course, you kind of stay in that realm, right? So I love this idea. Yeah, if there's things you're learning, we can support that in the calls, but also the book, my book, which I'll show you here. This is the hard copy or the paperback, and it's been out since, well, sort of had different variations, but 2017, but back in 2008. So this is like the main 44 that I've been working with in the Columbia River Gorge, and then you get the ebook copy, and you're welcome to order like one of these if that's easier too. And just to show, I have made a deck of those 44 as well. So, so for some people, and of course, we'll just be working with 9 of them. So it's a little bit different than, needing this. But I used to have a kit that was all these, 44, but I felt like it was too much to like learn, like it's better to focus. But these cards are photographs I've taken over the years. For example, here's the tiger lily. Really into lilies. We've got the red columbine, just to give an example of some of these different ones, besides ones we will be working with. Buttercup, here's the fairy slipper orchid. So these are, as you expand, like the 9 kind of are the ones, the fairies and the flower fairy and the energies were telling me, like, focus on these 9, and then you'll have a really great kind of basis for, really opening more to the flowers and to the things that we're dealing with right now. So that's why I selected the ones that are in it. I don't know if you've seen the list of what, oh, you haven't, okay.
I think I did just on the
On my email, yeah. But I'll just briefly go through this is the kit. Here, we'll start here. So if you sign up, then you get the kit, and this has 9 different, mostly single, but a couple of formulas. And then during the course I have, and I'll show you the layout of the membership portal. You can go on there and watch videos. You can do it from your phone. It's a really nice online portal. So you can go on there, and then I'll have a video on, let's say, the grandmother essence. I do have a grandmother essence, because that energy, that creation energy, the ancient energy of the feminine, of the grandmothers, of everything that's created before tradition, before religion, before nations. Like, this is a lot of work I do, and she really wanted to be included. So we have a grandmother essence. There's a white lily essence, which has a number of white lilies in it. And this one's very refined energy for the feminine, for worth, for sensitivity. Very much a women's flower. We've got mullein. This one, I've found it has so many different things. A lot of these are what are called keystone remedies. You can use them for a lot of different things. But this one is also like an initiator into working with flower essences. But it also has a lot of other uses, like helping you hear your higher self, listen to your higher self more. The Barrett's Penstemon, which we just journeyed with. Got the Poet's Shooting Star, which is like the starseed remedy. And also for birth trauma, for embodiment on our ascension journey. I have a 3-flower, 3 trees essence. So I put the trees together, but we'll be working with oak, willow, and pine. All of those are amazing. I love trees. It's definitely a tree person too. Balsam root, which is just got to see. And that one's a lot about eldership, maturity, the masculine principle, confidence, really stepping up in that rooted, grounded leader way. Silky lupin. I don't know if you can see these pictures of the sun now coming in. And she's everything from telepathy to focus to the kind of goddess dancing, communication, nonverbal communication, also even anxiety and issues like that. And then yarrow, which is wonderful for building our auric field, energetic protection, detoxing, and all that. So it's a nice, well-rounded kit. And so in the videos that I share, I'll be doing teachings on each one, as well as guided meditations, so you can journey with them. And then what I've noticed over the years with a lot of people I've worked with teaching is that one of the most important things I do, if nothing else, is that I'm like an initiatory person. So I give people an initiation into the medicine. So it's almost like the shamanic teachings where you're transferring access to this body of knowledge, this body of flowers, this the devas and spirits that work with it, the fairy queens, the elementals. So what I found is really important is to do that actual initiation for you all in this. And that's sort of the energetic, magical, spiritual, like, here you go, it's yours. And what I notice with a lot of people, even when they're like beautiful healers, beautiful flower essence people, you know, working with this material that I work with so deeply, sometimes my students were feeling like they didn't really have permission to claim it for themselves. And I realized that that's kind of a universal thing. I think for a lot, especially women, we haven't been given like the key to say, we have the authority to claim this and to be it and to do it and own it. And so that's like my big intention for all of us, is to really, you know, share the teachings and open the energy, but also really initiate you in this. And if you've already been doing it, like you both have said that, and the people watching, this can be like the next level of it, the next octave. So, you know, whatever you're at, wherever stage you're at, like I will facilitate or give you access, because it's not running through me, right? It's you and your relationship. And as some of my early teachers to talk about, like the energy that we learn about herbs, because I'm an herbalist too, and a aromatherapist, and, you know, studied a lot of different plants and things, a lot on my own, but also with some teachers. But I loved how one of the curanderos I worked with, he said, oh yeah, like for mullein, take the leaves and put them in your hands and then go to sleep, and put one across here and go to sleep with that. And then do that for 3 nights. And you're like, the medicine is, and the knowledge, intelligence of the plants going in your bones, right? But then I realized, oh, I'm doing that with the flowers as I make the flower essence and work with them. It's like, oh, that's going into my bones, or we're remembering what's already in our bones, right? Because our ancestors, our past lives, like we all did this a ton. This was our work. And so that also, that lineage piece, right? Where we were flower people, plant people, herbalists, the midwives, the, you know, of the villages. And we did this, and our ancestors did this. And sometimes it takes a little, like, you know, to move back into that. So that's the other thing I want to support, because I know I've had to move through a lot of persecution, karma, and to step up again, like talk about fairies again and talk about flowers without like, oh no, am I gonna be safe, right? So yeah, so we're gonna be doing the guided meditations. You get the kit, the initiation with the fairy queen, and then there will be a monthly circle like this for whoever wants to be on it. And I think I might ask, like, if people have certain, you know, days and nights and times that work for them, I'm happy to adjust the schedule or have it different times so that everyone can make sure they can come as much as they want to. But also, if you have questions about any of this, and you can also like email me the questions and I'll talk about them in the call. And those calls will be in the membership portal. So I wanted to show you the portal so you can get an idea. It's really a nice setup. I really like it. And just how you would get into the course once you sign up. I think when you sign up, you get a couple emails that are just like from the member press. And they just ask for a password and here's to get in. But once you get in, to access the course, you just need to go to my website, and then under Learn, there's, well, the Flower Essence Magic course. If you want to learn more too, there's a whole section, but these are different pages about different things. And at the bottom, let me scroll up here. At the bottom, there's course portals. And you can either push on course portals and go in that way. And that takes you just to, there's Flower Essence Magic. And you can just push on that once you get your password set up, and then it takes you in. But let me just show the other way too, because I know sometimes it's these technological things. Into Learn, course portal, and then there's another login. And once you're logged in, I'm finding that it'll just take you there really quickly. But the only tricky thing is just, there's a bunch of different categories. It's just courses is what you want to push. And then you'll see a list of them. And for me, I have them all because this is my computer, but you probably just have this. And there's also a free Gaia portal if you want to sign up for that, feel free, or any of the others. Flower Essence Magic, just push on that. And then what comes up here, I'm just gonna move this, is the, just gonna put some shade because the sun came beaming in, which is lovely, but it's a little hard to see on the computer now. Oops, a little bit more. The sun just comes right in my big windows, which is great. Okay, so this just shows you how it's set up. It's really a nice format because you just, let's say, go to welcome, you just push start. And then I have a video here and some information. Once you do that, you can go to the next one, dowsing with a pendulum. There's a video here. I put down how long the videos are, and then you can just keep going down. Here's the ebook. In this section, there's a couple ways you can actually go to Google draft of the PDF, or you can look at it right in here. And then here's different things. There's a video about flower essence energy medicine and the doctrine of signatures, and then we go into the different essences in the videos. And some I'm still working on, so not everything's complete yet, but it will be as we go along. So that is how the thing. And what's nice about it, like I say, you can do it on your iPad or your phone and just, click it on and listen to it if you're out in nature or something. So, yeah. Are there any questions from you guys? Yeah.
So I apologize if I didn't notice this in the email. I was just so excited to sign up. I didn't even mind right up. Does it start at a specific time, or is it ongoing since you can buy it on your website?
Yeah. So the course is ongoing because it is self-guided.
Oh, awesome.
So you can sign up whenever. I just have
Oh,
a thing that if you want to get a pendulum, if you sign up by this month,
okay.
and on the 31st, I do have the first call.
Okay.
So you can sign up this month, or you can sign up whenever you want. And then there's no limit. Like if it's like a couple years or however much time people need. So if people want to have access to the material for, some years
That's
ahead,
awesome.
the videos will be there and you can also access them. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think I'll put on there too, I'll do a discount for my flower essences too. If there's other ones that you want, as you work with them, that you can get a discount on that. And then also, like if you want to do private mentorship, like I love doing that with people, but I think this is a nice way to get to know and start working. And then I'll probably do a special price for that as well. So that works really well with my land alchemy training program. I do, we do work together in a Zoom fairly weekly. And then I also do one-on-one with them. And it's really great because you can kind of dive in more to your own material. So I'm happy to do that if that's something you want to do.
Awesome. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing to mention too, like I've set this up, very intuitively because that's how I work. So there's, the videos just, okay, what wants to come through, but also if there is, questions that come up during it, as you're taking it, or I guess when we do the group thing, if that's interests you, the mentorship. If there's certain areas that you feel like you want more on, I might, add extra videos and stuff. That may happen, I guess, I'll just say.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful.
Keep it flowing, because I really think the whole, vibrational medicine and flower essences, everything is shifting so fast that, things can change. And I guess just to really honor, I want to see if Angela has anything before I go on that too.
Nope, I think I'm good so far.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the things too that I really like to stress in my teachings when I do these courses is that I love to share, whatever I learned and different ways that work for me. And like I said, I've been doing this for quite some time and worked with a lot of people, taught a lot of people, made a lot of essences, and worked with clients as well. But that I really encourage people to do it their own way, right? Because everyone's really unique and they have different gifts. And so even though, I tell you, this is how you make them and this is how I do it, to just know, like, if you're talking to the fairies and they're like, oh, you should put these crystals here and do it this way and use a different container. Like I've even made them in like wooden bowls or stone. I have a stone grandmother bowl, you know, shaped out of old stone to make essences. So just to recognize, like, yeah, use your own intuition, and it's much more fun and playful, of course. But I know some teachers are, you know, you got to do it this way. And I don't tend to be like that. Even to learn to teach, like, I had to really break things down. But then I'm like always telling people, my students, like, it's cool, you know, if you getting something else. But I will tell you, like, if you say you're doing, like, for example, if you're making a flower essence, I really suggest not to use metal. And that's sort of a classic thing because metal carries energy. So if you use scissors, or you use, you know, some people use tweezers or these different metal funnels. And it's like, I really, you know, and if you get called to use it, that's up to you. But to me, like, the reason why is because metal carries energy. And when you make your essences, you might want really clear and clean energy. So things like that, like, there's a reason why I may do things, but sometimes we find those out ourselves, right? Yeah.
So you mentioned that it's not necessarily a beginner's course.
Mhm.
I guess I'm trying to visualize, like, I know you said we'll sit with each of these flowers. Are we learning about that process of kind of getting to know both these flowers and flowers that are in our area, or is it more logistic of, like, how to make the essences, how to work with the essences? Does it cross over into working with people and the flower essences, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So part of it, working with these, like, taking the essences themselves and working with them will open you to this kind of medicine. So it will also benefit you working with any other essence, right? So that's part of that intention. Like, you know, there's so many flowers, right? Everywhere. There's all the flowers in your garden. They're everywhere. So it's like having the ones that are really good teachers for us to be using this. And so it's both about you and your own, you know, transformation process, and, like, taking them and working with them, learning about them, meditating with them. But it's also about, like, you as a healer practitioner sharing them. So there will be, like, discussion, and also the way the book is set up. I have, let's give an example here. Like, this is a really good kind of help for if you're working with other people. In the book, it'll have the flower's name, the affirmation, the element, but it also has a list of, you know, what is that flower good for? So besides just learning about your experience, your energy, your feeling of that plant, the plant will be teaching you about it. So it will help you recognize when you'll need it if you're working with people. So my intention is definitely to work with people, you know, practitioners working with others, whether that's your family or your clients, your patients. So there's categories, like in Camus, there's acceptance, ancestor healing, attachment, balance, brain hemisphere balancing, ceremonial, communication, depression, and also the balanced state, reverence and balance in a pure state of acceptance of what is. And then the book also has case studies, like descriptions of people who've taken it and how it's helped them. Either they've taken it just once and they're meditating and talking about it, or they've taken it for a period of time and what it's helped them with. And so my intention is that it will expand you as a healer for working with flower essences. first with yourself and really knowing your own medicine, and then how you can, I mean, I would love that for you to share it, you know, whether it's working with these specific ones, which you'll know really well, or then making your own and then learning like, okay, how do I really learn this, and then share it. Was there another piece of that question? Trying to make
I
sure.
don't think so. I think
Okay.
that helped.
Oh yeah, the beginner aspect versus,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think too, like when there's sort of different kinds of beginners with it, because there's some like you don't know what it is at all and you're learning all the basics, right? But there's also like we're all beginners in some ways of learning about certain plants and certain essences, right? So yeah, so this is like a way to expand your repertoire. Like, even if you're just going to use it for yourself, it will definitely take you on a journey and teach you and help you open to the trees and the plants and all of it. But it will also help you learn the medicine that you can share with your family, your kids, your pets, your clients, become a healer. But it won't be, I'm not so clinically based. Like I do show you how to use a pendulum and muscle test, finger testing. Like if you were going to work with people and can talk about, and that's also something like in the mentorship calls, you know, if it comes in, like, let's really talk about like when you're working with someone and you know these and you're working with someone, how to work with them. Because right now it's, I kind of felt like, you know, that would be a good one to add. It's like after you learn them, you learn how to make them, like maybe one for a healer. Like what would be some things to help you learn how to do that? Have you shared them with others and done that? Or I guess I'm curious.
A little bit. I tend to just get excited about what I'm learning. So I feel
Yeah.
like even though I'm at a fairly beginner stage, I have kids and grandkids and loved ones that I'm always excited to share. So
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And so I think some of getting into the clinical or the working with patients, I would say too, that might be like a part 2 course from this, because that would be getting into a lot more, but I'm happy to do, you know, some of that. And I kind of have like the videos I've made so far, I'm sort of bringing in different things that are to do with, okay, let's say you had a client who would be someone who would want the one we're talking about here, or what are their issues? But I am a firm believer in using like our intuition and not doing it too logically, because it's really easy to look at like, oh yeah, like this person is presenting in this way. And a lot of like some people teach that, oh, you make a list and it's a very logical approach to what you select. But my experience has been that that doesn't always work. The best way is to use like an intuitive way of selecting. It could even be for them looking at the picture, you know, there's lots of ways, but there's some like resonance of that energy of the plant that wants to be come forward. And then when that does, it's like, oh, wow, there's like a real match. And then that can even reveal what's going on for the person in a deeper way than just them telling you, you know, these are the things going on. I mean, that sometimes can be a clue, because people can sometimes say boop and you go, oh, that definitely connects with this flower. So it's not like that doesn't happen. But my experience is there's a lot of power in like someone maybe sharing, you know, what they need to share, because they need to share that. And then, okay, let's just go in and, okay, what do they need here? oh, you know, poet's shooting star. And then you talk about it. It's like, oh my gosh, I totally feel like I don't belong here. I feel like I'm from the star nations and I can't land. And it's like a lot of magic can happen that way. So, yeah. Fun. So I think that was, is there anything else coming in? I think I covered all the main things about it. But like I say, there's on my website a whole page devoted to this, so you can look through it. And on my YouTube channel too, I have some things about flower essences, or if you want to contact me, feel free. But yeah, it'd be really fun to connect with you. Is there any other questions before we close?
I'm also currently in your book club.
Oh, awesome.
Just wanted to say, like, I don't know, the timing of it is, you know, kind of overlapping, but
Okay.
I came tonight because, as I mentioned, the flowers have been calling, and it seems like it's getting stronger. And so then this class presented as kind of seemingly ideal timing. But I'm a DIY kind of girl and definitely can scour YouTube videos. And so I just wanted to see, like, is this class, you know, versus just looking at somebody's YouTube videos, whether they're yours or somebody else's, where it's at for me. And I realized tonight that, yes, the initiation piece is huge. And your 23 plus years of experience is also really going to be worth it. And I appreciate the intuitive piece, because that's really where I want to be. My mind can very much like look at the logical, and I can get all the lists,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's about kind of staying present in the moment. And to me, that's where that intuitive piece, and that's where I'm trying to focus and grow. So I think I'm in the right place.
Thank you. And it's such a perfect thing to end with, because one of the big messages with this group of essences was that they can help us trust our intuition. That was what the flowers were saying to me. We want to teach people to trust their intuition. And so I love that you're feeling that energy from them. Yeah, they've really helped me so much for so long. So I'm just really grateful to share, and would, yeah, love to have all of you join me. So, and there's a lot in that new book, Sacred Spirits of Gaia, that Angela is showing. That's my newest book. There is sections on the flower fairies and making flower essences. And actually, you know what I did? I just read that chapter 5, which is about magical meetings with fairies. And so it's got flower fairies, the fairy queen, the she, and the blue elf. And so I put it in this course. So if you want to listen to it, it's me reading it, but it's good, because it kind of sort of the stories more of how I got into the flowers and working with flower fairies. And yeah, so great. Well, thank you for coming and sharing this time together. Is there anything else?
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, if you, those who join, I'll see you on May 31st at 5 p.m. is the first call. And like I say, if you can't make the call, but you have questions, you can let me know. So otherwise, and I've got kits ready to go. If you sign up, you know, I can send them right out. So, all right, have a beautiful, joyful, trusting, magical day.
Thank you so much. You too. So lovely to see you.
You.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.